Hey, it is Mike. It is time for my midweek horror review. This week, it is Nightmare Beach, aka Welcome to Spring Break. This movie was released in 1988. It started out with one director by the name of, I don't know if I'm going to say his first name right or not. It's Umberto Lindsay. And basically, he just got in a big old fight with others in this movie because he said it resembled one of his recent movies that he had directed, and he wanted nothing to do with it. So they brought in one of the co-writers. He was already working on the movie. His name was listed as Harry Kirkpatrick, but he's actually known as James Justice, to finish the movie. But Lindsay stayed on kind of as a help to James Justice. This movie stars really the only person that I knew in this movie was John Saxon. The lead guy's name is Nicholas de Toth, and he's done some stuff mainly in the editing department. And then Sarah Buxton is the lead girl. I think her name is Gail. I can't remember any of their names. That's how much this movie stuck with me. Anyway, and then of course John Saxon plays a kind of a pricky cop. So kind of a different role for him. Because normally he's pretty much a good guy. So the plot. Okay, so it's spring break. So of course there's a lot of TNA. And then there's a supposed, maybe, I don't know, phantom bike gang guy who was executed for a murder that he didn't commit, or he claims he didn't commit, and he vows to come back and go after everybody involved. And so we're in a spring break town. Of course, it's cheesy as hell. But kids start getting killed, and there's no real explanation other than this phantom cop. So, yeah, the kills for the most part are, I don't know, they're kind of all the same pretty much. This cop, this biker, whoever he is, he's all in red. His bike is in red, or he's in red and black. And he has this thing on his motorcycle where he can electrocute people and basically fry them up. So that's what happens to several of them. And then there's, some other attempts, and then there's the bike gang that kind of gets involved, but the bike gang look more like Chippendale dancers and Playboy Playmates than they do like actual bikers. None of them look too tough or too scary. There's maybe one or two. And the two leads, the guy and the girl, they're okay. Their acting is okay. I mean, John Saxon, of course, can act, but for the most part, it was all pretty wooden. So, the positives in this movie. Of course, the scenery was beautiful. They were, in a kind of a tropical location, or a beautiful location. I don't know if it was really that tropical. They had this beautiful, I don't know if it was like a, I don't know, was it a mining area or something? It was like this beautiful colored sand. Very, very pretty. The sets were okay. It was fine. There were some real laughs in this movie. I mean, there were some characters that were hysterical. There was this one guy that kept screaming about his team, go Wildcats or whatever. He was hilarious. And there were some other characters that were funny. Even if they weren't intended to be funny, they kind of came across. Some of the bikers, like these blonde hair, short cut, beautiful hairstyles, acting all tough. It was hilarious. Some of the practical effects were pretty good in this movie. I thought when the people were getting fried, it was a little bit cheesy sometimes. Especially this one particular girl who gets burnt up in some kind of warehouse or something. I don't know, and I don't know, that one was kind of cheesy. Of course, there's lots of pretty people in this one. Another positive is that John Saxon was in it. The killer's costume was really cool. It's this red and black leather with a red hood, a helmet. You never see the face. And like I said, most of the deaths were okay, but some were unintentionally hysterical. I don't know. In particular, the one I'm thinking of is this girl has his headphone on, her headphones on. She's listening to something, and the biker shows up and zaps her with a wire from the wall. I don't know. It was goofy, but it was kind of funny, and it kind of has an ending. I mean, it just kind of ends. They reveal everything. Yeah, so we'll give it that. All right. So what were the negatives? What were the things that Mike found kind of annoying about this movie? I'll tell you as soon as I get to that list. All right. So first of all, way too many storylines going on in this movie. We had a disgraced football player is moping around. Spring break with all these really cute girls and naked girls and whatever. He's just kind of moping around because he's sad because he made a boo-boo. Of course, you have the spring break hijinks going on. So you have all these characters that are doing these weird things or getting into the storyline one way or another. The Chippendale biker gang that just, randomly hang out at these different places. They come up to this bar and it's obviously full of college kids, but they still want it because it's their bar. And yet, none of them really do anything. They just kind of pick on the two main boys in the movie. So then we had the biker gang versus the spring breakers. We had the biker gang versus the corrupt cop, John Saxon's character. We had a spring break hooker who was getting guys to come to the hotel room with her and pay her to help her with her medical school, whatever. That was a whole nother little storyline going on. She had 3, I think, maybe, I don't know, maybe more. And then we had an employee from the hotel who was Peeping Tom, who was watching this hooker. We had spring break killing cover-ups, so these kids that were getting killed, nothing was being reported, and they were burying them out in this area that I was talking about with the beautiful sands. I think it was some kind of mine. I don't know. We had a crazy priest running around telling everybody, you're going to hell, blah, blah. And he had this daughter who was the biggest trollop of all of them. Of course, she didn't do a nude scene or anything. There was plenty of that. But yeah, this whole priest and his daughter thing was crazy. And then we had this one character, I call him the boy who cried wolf. For those of you youngsters that don't know what that is, he kept playing all these goofy pranks where he was dead, with special effects, makeup and everything, and the people would come running to see what was happening. And of course, he was fine the whole time until finally he wasn't. And then, of course, we have the love story between the college boy who made a mistake during a football game and the girl whose sister was murdered by the biker, but it wasn't really the biker, it was the killer. And yeah, there was a whole, she didn't like any of the other kids, but she still worked in a bar. And yeah, so yeah, it was a lot. Way too much. Way too many storylines. All right, so The acting was pretty much horrible. Even the girl, Sarah Buxton, who went on to do a lot of stuff and is still acting, even she was really cardboardish at times. Of course, the Chippendale bikers were hilarious. Yeah, and truly, it was just goofy. Would I call this a bad movie? Probably. Do I hate it? No, I thought it was fun. It was silly enough, but just enough to where it didn't, I don't know, didn't rise to the silly horror comedies. It is a horror comedy pretty much, but yeah, it was all right. It'll probably stay on my shelf for now. I may give it another watch, but we will have to see. But that is my thoughts on Nightmare Beach. I would love to know what you all think. If any of you have saw this movie, what'd you think? All right, guys, talk to you next time. Bye.